All right. So I have a 3-day training, a challenge. This is an opportunity to change your life, reset your energy, refocus your goals, really start to make momentum and traction starting from day one. My greatest intention is to keep these punchy, actionable, insightful with not a lot of fluff. You are busy, you have a life to live, and I honestly don't want to be on the computer as much as I am, and I don't want you to be on the computer all the time either. So let's keep these really kind of focused, tight, and something that you can walk away every single day of the 3 days going, not only do I know more about myself and my situation, but I have something actionable to work on. So over the next 3 days, today, Monday, then Tuesday, then Wednesday, there will be a video coming out, and we're going to step you through what I call the Fresh Start framework, and it is all about tuning you into exactly what you need to do next. If you're seeing this live, make sure to say hello. If you're seeing it on the replay, also say hello. I will try and tag everyone. It's not going to let me. I'll tag everyone afterwards. So if you know there are people in this group that weren't here live or haven't seen it, please tag them in it as well. So welcome to day one of the 3-day reset and renew experience. I'm Nikki, as you probably know because you're in my Facebook group. I'm a certified life coach. I am an intuitive practitioner, and it is my greatest wish and goal and dream and mission to help people live more magical and more meaningful lives. That is really the underpinning of this 3-day training. So if you're feeling there's more out there for you, if you're sensing that if you just had a little bit more of a customized strategy and plan that you could get shit done and make your life magical in all areas, then this is definitely for you. I help people who are ambitious. I help people who want to be authentic in every single area of their lives. Mostly now that I, have started to think back on all my clients over the past 4 years, help people who are high performing, who get shit done, who are maybe very successful in certain areas of their life, but obviously they come into life coaching, they come into personal development, just like you probably have, because there are still some areas where maybe you don't feel as competent. You might be crushing it at business, but you find in your health it's a little bit messy. You might be experiencing a lot of joy and ease in your relationship, but then when it comes to other areas of your life, things don't seem to just work out in the same way, or your influence doesn't seem to be coming through. That is what we're working on. So whether you're, thriving in one area and flatlining in another, bring it all to the table over the next 3 days. Be honest with yourself, be vulnerable with yourself, and most importantly, and hand on heart, promise this to yourself, be compassionate. In my life reset program, there are 3 key elements of success, and I'll share them here with you today. And they are conscious, creative, and compassionate. If we are not conscious and like fully aware, mind, body, and soul of what's going on within us and without, we're not going to actually see all that we need in order to make change and be our most thriving self. If we're not willing to be creative in how we think and how we respond and how we even tackle problems and opportunities, we're leaving a lot on the table. And if we don't bring this third piece, which I think is the most important throughout everything, is if we don't bring compassion, we're not giving ourselves the grace, we're not trusting ourselves enough to really make soul deep transformation and change. If you're willing to be conscious, creative, and compassionate in this training today and hopefully moving forward, let me know in the comments. You might say, I'm in, you might say, which one of those 3 that you're really wanting to tune into and plug into. Like, let me know what those are. Because this might be a shock. It certainly wasn't my reality or my experience, and I'm not perfect at it. Like, I'll be completely honest. There are plenty of things that I want to improve and change and grow in my life. But in the past, I didn't believe that was possible. I thought there were certain areas that were going to be good and certain areas that would always be bad. This didn't feel like an option. It didn't feel like a mindset thing. I wasn't aware that I could influence how I perceived my life and myself and my situation. I was firmly in the camp of, life is just this chaotic place where sometimes good stuff happens, but really most of the time it's just kind of a struggle or it's a bit difficult. What I've come to realize in my own personal development journey, reading books, working with coaches, having friends who are more open to growth and expansion and like learning about themselves and improving their lives, but also through having my coaching certification and working with clients, is how much we can actually influence our lives. You might already know that. You might have seen it. You might have sensed it. You might have changed huge parts of yourself and your situation. But again, you've come to this space, you've come to this call, you've come to this type of work because there is more for you out there and you're ready for the more. If this resonates, know that you're in the right place. Today, let me re-engage my tongue. Today, we're diving into the first and most crucial step of the three-step process, which is reset. This is about identifying what's working in your life and what's ready for change. I call this the Fresh Start framework, as I already said, but it's designed to help you get out of the met areas of your life and turn them into magic, to really start to make change, to not just sit on the sidelines of your life going, I wish someone would come in and save me, or I wish something would be different, or if I only just had this miracle moment, then I could, sort my shit out. This is about taking ownership. This is about tuning into what you can do and then doing something about it. I'm pretty passionate about this, but I'm also really focused on delivering this concisely, confidently, and powerfully so you really feel the energy that is possible and accessible to you through this work. Here's a little bit of a truth. The patterns, beliefs, and habits that brought you to your current level of success might not take you to the next one or be directly applicable in other areas. Sometimes learning out there in the world is just like find something that works, plug and play. Or, well, if it's working in the area of, health, just do something similar in this other area that you're trying to work on. And it's not as simple as that. We are complex beings, even though we don't need a lot to be happy, though society tells us we need a bunch of stuff. But there are so many things going on in our life and our energy, how we respond to different environments and people and situations, what we need, what we crave, what fills our cup. This is valuable information, but it's not always accessed. It's not always tapped into. So the first thing we need to do is just simply understand that success is not a one and done, and success is not a cookie cutter situation that you just find the right one and you use that recipe forever. If it was that simple, we wouldn't have a self-development industry. We would just have 3 books on the subject. Everyone would read them and everyone would be fine. You know this. I bet you know this. If you're the type of person who watches a bunch of masterclasses, always listens to podcasts, maybe you've read a billion books on money, finances, business, health, love, whatever it may be, and yet there still always seems to be a gap in it. It's because you haven't embraced the power of customization and really, really attuning things to you. Personally, that's why I find it so powerful to work with a person. And it doesn't need to be in a 12-week course like the Life Reset program, though it can be. And it doesn't need to be one-to-one coaching every week or every fortnight, though it can be. But having someone to give you the feedback, give you the support, give you the accountability. And I think what I enjoy about it most is giving that the ability to connect all the dots and see it from a different perspective is super powerful and invaluable. So we needed it to be customized, we needed it to be supportive, and we need to be flexible. Working long hours, having a detailed plan, and leaning on your network might work with, say, work. But when you're looking to create a life that feels easeful and graceful, and if you are looking for a life, it's just gone 444, how cool. If you are looking for a life that is easeful, graceful, and successful, pop some emojis in the chat. I'm just going to do that because I definitely want a life that is easeful, graceful, and successful. It's not one of those, it's not two of those, it's all three of those. And all three of those in all areas of life, please, universe, please and thank you. So if we're wanting this, we need to be clear. No more performing happiness, no more telling people we're fine, no more curating, highlights on Instagram and only putting the good stuff out there. No more shallow surface level platitudes of like, well, I should be grateful. You were meant to actually enjoy all parts of your life. I'm going to say that again because I feel like I rushed through it. You are meant to actually enjoy all parts of your life. And it begins with your ability and your willingness and your like radical ownership of getting to some truth. Pop truth in the comments if you're open to it. You might not be confident. You might be a little scared. You might be a little worried. You might be wondering. But if you're willing, if you know that there is a part that's like, I just want to cut through the bullshit. I just want to get to the truth. I just want to figure myself out so I can really start showing up as a person I want to be and have the results that I've been dreaming of and putting on my vision board for so long. Pop truth in the comments. That is why this step one is so powerful, the reset. Because when we reset, we create space to recognize what's holding us back. We create space to honor what's already serving us. And we create space to open up the door to real change. Just knock something on my table. And this honestly isn't about overhauling your life overnight. Please don't walk into this or any training thinking if I just listen hard enough and if I just take enough notes that the problem will just poof disappear, or I'll never feel stressed again, or I'll never be worried again. And I know that you don't really believe that, but when we can feel a little bit, desperate, a little bit searching, a little bit wondering, like, what the heck do I do? I've tried so many things. And just like me, I know you've tried so many things. We can come into places like this with that energy, and it's not helping. So that's why I want us to come into compassion. That's why I want us to all be in a place of truth and radical willingness to just go like, what do I see and what do I need and what am I gonna do about it? That is the energy we need to bring. Just for a moment, I'm going to go off script. I want you to imagine it doesn't have to be the biggest success you've ever done in your life, but just something that stands out to you as like, I am so freaking impressed with myself by doing that thing. I was so proud. I am so proud. I am so pleased. It was such a feat. It was such an accomplishment. Maybe it was buying your house. Maybe it was getting that job. Maybe it was getting that promotion. Maybe it was finding and keeping the love of your life. Maybe it was figuring out what foods work for you and what don't. Like, what is the thing that in this moment you're like, I did that. I did that. And maybe in this particular case, it came easy to you because you had this natural gift and talent and the stars were aligned. And maybe it was a hard friggin' slog, but you never gave up and you got there. But find that I did it moment. Now, I want you to really lean into that feeling and lean into just like the thoughts and the memories and the emotions and the energy of like, yes, I accomplished what I set out to do. I was able to create and receive this moment, this experience, this success, and feel however you need to feel it. Maybe it's energetically, maybe there's this like aura, there's this sense, maybe it's the full body feeling of like reliving that moment. Really turn it up, really invite it in, really keep it close. And that in and of itself is something to practice, is tuning into those memories and those moments where you were at your peak, because we can always get back there. And then what I want you to do when you get to that peak, and pause the video if you need to, is now, and it takes practice, you might slip out of it, so come back into it, try again, is like feeling that energy, those memories, that emotion, those thoughts, that moment. And now just imagine, just say, I'm just imagining this feeling and this sense of accomplishment in the area of my life that is currently just a bit of a challenge, or it's currently the thing I'm working on. So we're not thinking about the how, we're not thinking about the what, we're not thinking about the when. Details, get out of here. We're shifting that energy. We're going that sense of like, oh my God, I got the promotion and it was fully deserved because I fucking went for it. And I did everything I could do, and I showed up, and it was messy, and it was magical, and it was meaningful, and I got there, and yes, and we're going to shift that energy. Imagine feeling this way about my health. Imagine feeling this way about my business. Imagine opening my bank account and feeling this way. And we're just going to keep saying that. Imagine. Imagine this there. Imagine that feeling in this area, this level of accomplishment in this different part of my life. And just keep trying it on. Just keep saying to yourself, imagine that, imagine that, imagine that. Can you imagine it? And remember, it's not about the details. It's just going literally, imagine feeling this there. Maybe some thoughts are coming through. Maybe some ahas are lighting up. Maybe there's just this sense of like, oh, I didn't actually realize how shut down I was about that goal. And yet I do feel a bit lighter. Tell me what you're sensing. Tell me what you're feeling. And if, and I'm just going to say this here, though these types of people, and it's not a judgment, it's just an acknowledgement, they're probably already gone. If this, if you're not willing to do this work, if you're not willing to wait a little while for your momentum to pick up, if you're not willing to have some patience around your efforts being felt and being seen, and actually figuring out the details of that level of success, save your energy until it's truly time. That's not me telling you you're not good enough or you can't do it or it's not available to you, but this is part of being truthful. If you're in a place in your life where you're not gonna do the work that we talk about here, please save your time, your energy, your effort, your money, your everything, and just go enjoy your life or do something that makes you feel better, but don't take on more than is within your capacity. And I say that genuinely, and I know not enough people say that. If you need 110% and you've got 20, do something that's 20%. Do something that you can be like 100% successful in that 20% and grow your capacity. There is no judgment here. But if you are willing to work, if this is your time, if you have that sense of like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna take it all the way now. I'm sick of my health holding me back. I'm sick of my business being a burden. I'm sick of work, like just feeling kind of ugh. And I have all these complaints and I worry about it all the time, but I'm not doing anything about it. And I'm done with that. Drawing that line in the sand, but most importantly, then doing something about it. This is your place. If you haven't already, grab your journal. We're going to dive into the activity that I brought for you today. So grab your journal. It can be your journal, it can be a piece of paper, it can be a document on your computer or your phone. Make notes, take note, make this matter, and have something actionable by the end of this. I'm going to keep it really simple. I invite you to pause the video if you need longer. Hopefully, what we were just talking about amped you up and got you tuned into some good energy. If you need to retune into that energy, do that now. So you can just do a line down the middle of your page. First side, what's working? Take 2 or more minutes to jot down everything in your life that feels good, aligned, or successful right now. Do not hold anything back. Do not start to get critical. Just be truthful. Sometimes I feel it's successful if I've, without kind of whinging in my mind about it, flossed my teeth every day. I do it, but sometimes I'm just like dragging my feet for no freaking reason. And then like I'm just like, oh, I'm just nailing this. My dental hygiene. Not a big thing, but it does reflect to me this very micro level of success. And then other times, oh, I've been painting in my shed today. I've been, cleaning up my office and the energy. I've done all these social things. I've reconnected with friends. Like to me, these are big signs of success. Yes, getting a new deal, having a new client, making a milestone. whatever it needs to be. So taking 2 minutes now to write down what feels good, aligned, or successful in your life right now. These are your wins, big or small, and I want you to honor them all. This is your foundation. This is giving us a lot of information. And not that we have the time for it in this 3-day training, though it's definitely something we expand on in the Life Reset program, or I just work with my clients on, is really figuring out what works for you and what can be reused and what can be upgraded and what can be transferred. Something to keep in mind. So take your time, write down all of your wins, everything that's working for you right now. On the other side of your page, probably can guess what this side's going to be. What's ready for change? Take 2 minutes, remember, pause if you need to. Write down the areas of your life that feel stuck, misaligned, or in need of a reset. Be honest, but also remember to stay compassionate. Do not make this a bitch list. I hope Facebook lets me say that. Do not make this just you moaning and groaning. Be just honest and truthful and compassionate with yourself. What's genuinely not working? And it might be things that aren't actually bad or aren't actually painful or aren't actually like terrible. For me, it took me a while to realize teaching wasn't working. Not because teaching was bad and not because I was bad at it, but simply because it didn't light me up. And it wasn't allowing me the freedom to explore that at that stage in my life I needed. So there was nothing wrong with what I was doing. It just wasn't right for me. So this is the type of thing I would write on that side. And then there could be stuff like, what's in need of a change, eating pizza every day, or like whatever your thing is. So really getting truthful and writing all of it down. Pause if you need more time, but let's keep going. When you look at these lists, when you look at the two sides of paper, what patterns are emerging? What feels like the most urgent area to shift? Thinking priority-wise. Maybe it's the most urgent because it's the most painful. Maybe it's the most urgent because it's actually going to have a huge impact if it's not sorted out. Maybe it's the most urgent because it's just been there for so long and you're sick of having to deal with it and worry about it. Where are you finding that you're realizing stuff about your situation or yourself or your patterns and behavior? Like, you could even take more notes on this. I'd probably highlight certain things. I like to color code my highlighting. Depending on the color, it's the level of priority or urgency, or it's the different areas of your life. Do what you need to do to make this more precise and usable. If you're finding writing things down or like getting a clear sense of priority difficult, after I've done this video, I'm going to share with you a resource called the Self-Audit Checklist. It is a 1-page document. It's just going to ask you a bunch of questions. You rate them 1 to 10, and it helps you clarify how you're doing in different areas of your life, but also the degree to which they're working for you. I would also highly recommend after doing that document that you look at that and you still prioritize it as well. Because even though something might be a 1 out of 10, if it doesn't really matter to you, that's not necessarily a priority. So even if you use this document, and I highly recommend you do, make use of these resources, still prioritize it afterwards. This is bringing us close to the end of this video. It's gone a little bit longer than I expected. That's all right. I want to make sure this is usable, actionable, and worth your time. But tomorrow we're going to be taking step 2, which is the refresh part of the Fresh Start framework. And we're going to look at adjusting your goals if needed and making sure that they are enough to actually get you up in the morning, ready to start making progress and taking action. Goals that we don't care about doing, or we don't find we have enough motivation or inspiration or energy to accomplish, might not be serving you. And that could be because the goal needs to change, or we just need to simply tweak what you're aiming for, or maybe the milestone, but we'll get into that tomorrow. So now that you've identified what's working and what's ready for change, let's take it a step further. Now, because this is a 3-day training that I'm just sharing into our beautiful community, it's not the same kind of opt-in situation that we've done in the past. So I'm saying it here, I'll say it each video. You can take it, you can leave it, tune into your intuition. What do you need? So this week only, I'm offering a 15-minute one-to-one call that is exclusive for those of you who are showing up to this video, participating and doing the work. You know if you're showing up, participating and doing the work, and I'll probably know because I'll see your comments and your likes. So here's what we'll do together on that 15-minute call. It is not a sales call. It is not me pitching you. I talk about my program enough that if you want to learn more, obviously we can talk about it. But this is a 15-minute micro coaching call where you're going to get clarity. We're going to pinpoint one area of your life that's holding you back. And we're going to create an immediate strategy to shift you out of that energy. Because if we stay in the same energy, stuck, stagnant, and doubtful, we're not going to make aligned plans that get us into momentum and taking action. So we're going to pinpoint one area. We're going to create a strategy for you. This is a value-packed call designed to give you clarity and momentum. So if you've been feeling puzzled on where to start or what to do, and also a bit slow and stuck and like you're going in circles, or maybe you're even going backwards, take me up on this call. And if it does feel like the Life Reset program, which is 12 weeks intensely working on your life, and we can do one area of your life, we can do multiple areas of your life. If I feel that's aligned, bring it up with you. We can talk about it on our call or in the DMs, or you can always ask me about it as well. If it works for you, let's get it working for you. Spots are limited on these calls because I don't have the entire week open for calls. So if you want it, make sure to reach out or book using the link that I'm going to share below. And it's exclusive offer for this week only. So sign up, get a session, get clarity, get momentum, get a strategy. And if you want to learn more about that other stuff, we can talk about it. Thank you for joining me for day one. This challenge is your reset button. This challenge is a chance to create alignment and step into the life you truly want. And I think the most important thing is this challenge is an opportunity for you to just, as lovingly as possible, call BS and go, I'm not putting up with what's not working anymore. I'm actually going to get to work on making change, creating momentum, and loving every single area of my life. And it starts today. So you've already taken the first step by showing up. I'm super pleased. I'm super proud, and I'm super excited to see what's next. So make sure you share your ahas and your insights. And of course, if you have any questions, you want to go deeper, if there's some nuance that you want me to clarify, put it in the comments. I'm going to go in there and serve you. Tag me also, just so I do get notified. Like I said, tomorrow we're focusing on refreshing your vision and reconnecting with your soul aligned goals. Do not miss it, but make sure you do this work first. Until then, reflect on what you wrote today and think about what small shifts you're ready to make.